Hi there, Malcolm here with my 221st Booktube video, and today I'll be bringing you a review of Shards of Earth by Adrian Tchaikovsky, book one of the Final Architecture trilogy. I read this to my wife over a few months. We may well do a joint video later at a later date. I'll leave a link to that below as and when that happens. But Shards of Earth is a sci-fi story set, so distracted by a pigeon there. Set in the far distant future, mankind has reached the stars. They've discovered a means of faster than light travel, which means going through special, what they call throughways, in a alternate dimension called unspace, which doesn't really exist. And only very specialised pilots can really cope with it, because there's something in there that kind of sends you mad if you stay awake while travelling through unspace. And at some point during this civilization, giant alien moons start popping up around planets and reshaping them into wonderful sculptures of art, killing the billions of people who happen to live on them. And this picture is kind of what happened to the planet Earth. And in desperation, humanity created a bunch of telepaths, really. They're called intermediaries, who are able to pilot through unspace relatively unscathed, but more importantly are able to communicate to these giant things, which they name architects, to tell them to stop killing us, we actually exist, thank you very much. And there was some level of success because these giant creatures disappeared. And this is set much later, and there are rumours that they might be coming back. And we follow the crew of a ship called the Vulture God, very much like the crew of Serenity from Firefly. You know, they're not exactly pirates, but they're salvagers, they're guns for hire. Okay, they're pretty much the crew of Serenity from Firefly. It consists of their captain, Idris Telemia, who is one of these intermediaries, or one of the original intermediaries, a lawyer who fights with a knife as much as she does with words, an alien crab, that's actually more like a crab rather than a Zoidberg from Futurama, and the mechanic Ollie, who was born without limbs and exists within a series of exoskeletal contraptions and conveyances, her favourite being a giant scorpion thing, as well as a few others. And the crew are sent to salvage a derelict spacecraft. However, upon arriving at the spacecraft and the way that it has been reconstructed, it strongly suggests that the architects are back doing what they do best. And so towing this thing back into civilization is going to cause a bit of a stir, coupled with the fact that there's some interesting trinkets on board that some very powerful creatures want to get their hands on. And before long, the hapless crew are chased by virtually every organisation, criminal and legal, across the galaxy, while a huge conspiracy unfolds. And that's more or less the story in a nutshell. Obviously there's a lot more going on than that. The story is primarily told through the eyes of various crew members, particularly Idris and Chris, the lawyer who looks after him, as well as Solace, who comes from a species of specially bred warrior women who has been sent to the Vulture God to bring Idris into their organisation for their own personal use. But she and Idris have history from when they first encountered the architects many years ago. And we also follow Hevea Mundi, who's a sort of police officer, agent thing, who's also sent out to go and investigate the various goings on, and the Vulture God, the crew of the Vulture God seem to be in the thick of it every single time, everywhere he goes. Really good. Lots of strings to pull on this one, lots of little threads and some fun characters. You've got some interesting alien species, some friendly, some not so friendly, and some outright hostile. There's a weird alien cult going on. There's a weird alien harbinger. And there's some really great characters. And I think Ollie is my favourite character in this book. She is no nonsense, says it as she sees it, and gives as good as she gets. And the story wraps up in a, yes, this is book one of a trilogy, but this chapter is certainly complete sort of way, rather than on a weird cliffhanger and you've got to wait for the next book. So yeah, you do want the next book, but there is a story contained within this book itself, without you thinking you've only read a third of a story. Highly recommend this. If you've not read any Adrian Tchaikovsky before, this is a pretty good starting point. Or failing that, Children of Earth is another really good start to a brilliant trilogy. Booktastic. So have you read any Alien Tchaikovsky? Have you read the Final Architecture trilogy? What did you think? No spoilers, please. Still working way through book 2 at the moment. Comments down below, please. But as usual, if you have nothing nice to say, then please keep it to yourself. Thank you. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and other YouTubey things. And until next time, see you later.